Great. Now, each row in this spreadsheet represents one work. These first three are there for your guidance. They'll be ignored on import, but they should give you an idea of what the information should look like. Now, this spreadsheet has been set up to try to keep the wrong types of information from being entered, and some errors might still creep in, especially if you're copying and pasting. But suffice it to say for now that if you try to enter a value and it yells at you, it's for a reason. I'll be looking at a municipal bylaw in South Africa for this example, but it should apply for national acts and in other countries as well. These first few columns, country, locality, doc type, and subtype, can often all be done together at the end, so we'll ignore them for now. The publication name is also likely to be the same for all the works. For example, the National Gazette or the Provincial Gazette for a specific municipality. Let's open up a gazette and find the information we need. Here we go. Province of Western Cape, Provincial Gazette. We'll just use Western Cape Provincial Gazette. If it says Extraordinary at the top of the Gazette, like here, Provincial Gazette Extraordinary, we ignore that part. All right, the other information that we get from the top of the Gazette is the Gazette number, which we'll just copy and paste, and the publication date, which we can also just copy from there and paste across. Notice how it correctly formats the date to match those above. Next up, we'll be looking for the year, the number, title, and the commencement date. First, we need to find the actual work we're looking for in this gazette. Just to be clear, more than one work can be published in a gazette, and this does happen quite often. Now, because this gazette covers the whole province, I'll start by searching for the name of the municipality I'm working in to narrow it down. You can see I'd already started. Now, notice that the table of contents for this gazette doesn't fit on the front page. When that happens, it continues at the end. So I'll just jump to the bottom of the PDF, and there's the rest of the contents. And we can see there's a few here. Now, instead of trying to find these page numbers, because you'll see they don't match up with the PDF, I'm going to be using the search function, but I'm sure you'll find out your favorite way of finding a work inside of a PDF. All right, let's jump to the first one. That doesn't look right. Next one. Bylaw. Perfect. All right, here we are. Now, you may want to crop the PDF at this point if you plan to import the initial publication for this work later, but I won't be doing that now because I'm just going to be populating the spreadsheet. All right. Now, not all works or types of work are laid out in exactly the same way, but you can almost always expect a title at the top along with some other text. However, most of the information we're interested in for the spreadsheet is usually towards the end of a work. Let's have a definitions. All right. The most relevant sections for us in this case will be repeal of bylaws and short title at commencement. Also look out for section titles with the word amendment in them. Let's just remind ourselves what we're looking for. Year, number, title, and commencement date. I'll deal with the sent date separately. Let's have a look at the short title section. This bylaw shall be called the Tariff Bylaw of the Matsakama Municipality and shall come into operation on the date of publication thereof in the Provincial Gazette. So it didn't give a year within the title. Let's just highlight Tariff Bylaw of the Matsukama Municipality. So that's going to be the short title. It didn't give a year or a number. So for the year, we'll use the year of the date of publication. In this case, 2010. Great, and it didn't give a number either, so we're going to leave this blank. As we mentioned in another video, when no number is given, we use some text that links to the title. But we generate that automatically when importing from the spreadsheet, so you don't have to worry about doing that for now. National acts will generally clearly have a year and a number, usually assigned by Parliament. Now, while there was a title at the top of this work, we only use that as a fallback if the work doesn't have this short title section. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. So it would have been Tariff Bylaw. And notice that it's all in caps. If we had to use this top title, we would make this into title case. And what we mean by title case is that almost each word gets a capital letter for the first letter, except for small words like in, to, and, for, that kind of thing. But we do have a title, so what we'll do is copy that and paste it across. Great. Please note that if there are any small typos or mistakes here, we can't fix them when populating the spreadsheet. This is the legal name of the work, so we have to use it as it's printed without changing anything. The commencement date is the date on which a work comes into operation. This one says, after giving the title, that it shall come into operation on the date of publication thereof in the Provincial Gazette. This is fairly common wording, and in this case we just jump back to the publication date column where we've already given it, copy that, and paste it across. Sometimes it says something else though. Sometimes it doesn't say it all, but often it will say something along the lines that it will come into operation by proclamation or by notice in the National or Provincial Gazette. Then we would leave the commencement date blank for now and insert it once we have that notice or proclamation that makes the work come into force. The short version is we should always check the wording of this section and follow what it says. For the assent date, look for when the work was approved or signed by the President or the local council. I have an example here of a National Gazette for Act 4 of 2018. If we scroll down just to the start of the Act, we'll see there's an assent date right there at the top. Now we want to see if this work amends anything. This often happens in a schedule and would also often be referred to in the main body of the work. In this case, there don't seem to be any amendments, so we'll leave this section blank. If there were, we would put the section of this work in this column and the name of the work that gets amended in here. We would also go to the other works row and insert this work's title in this cell and the section there. And finally, we want to check if this work repeals anything. Indeed it does, or it seems to, but this wording isn't very clear. Any provision in any bylaw adopted by the municipality or any of the disestablished municipalities that have been incorporated into the municipality, which relates to any aspect provided for in this bylaw, is herewith repealed. That doesn't give us an actual bylaw that we can go to and say, this one is now repealed. So for now, what we'll do is copy this. And paste it in here to flag that something is up and needs to be resolved. And the section was section 6. So we'll put that there for reference. If it did give, say, the tariff bylaw of 2008 is herewith repealed, then we would put that title in this cell with the year for clarity. And then we would also go to that works row and we would put this works title as well as the year for clarity, and we would also put the section title for reference. Great, we're almost done. Let's just get rid of those and go back to the beginning. Now let's say that we had 4 works here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we would paste the same information for all of them for these first few columns. So ZA here, correct, copy, 2, 3, 4, paste. This is our locality code. If this were a national act, there would be no locality code. And this is the one for Matsukama. Copy, paste. This doc type is always going to be act. And again, we've got a bylaw here. If it were a piece of national legislation, there would be no subtype. And that's it.